Today we're having cranberry salsa. It's a really easy salsa to make, fresh ingredients, and it's perfect for all of your celebrations this week and this season. So the ingredients are very simple. The recipe is inspired by Fresh Taste from the Garden State by Carol Bird Bread-Benner. She's a Rutgers colleague. We're going to start with some fresh cranberries. New Jersey is one of the major producers of cranberries, along with Massachusetts and Wisconsin. Cranberries can be rather large or they can be small. We grow a lot of cranberries down in South Jersey, and I'm really proud to say that Rutgers does a lot of the research, not only on the varieties of cranberry plants to improve harvest and crop production, but also on the health benefits of cranberries. And they were the researchers that discovered the compounds within cranberries that help prevent urinary tract infections. And some of those compounds do that by preventing bacteria from sticking to the cell walls in the urethra so that people don't get the bladder infections. So really healthy. Has vitamin C in it, lots of good antioxidants. So you want to pick through the cranberries. You do need to use fresh cranberries for this dish. If you have frozen ones, the salsa will be I would say waterier and mushier. So I always make sure I pick up a couple extra bags to use around between Thanksgiving and mid-January. But you're going to wash them, pick through any that are soft and or shriveled, and get rid of those. 2 cups go into a food processor. Next, we're going to use a jalapeno pepper. When I went to the store the other day, the jalapenos were huge. So usually you would use, again, this is to your taste and liking, probably 1 or 2 medium-sized jalapeno peppers. I'm going to use about half of this, and I do like hot peppers, but this is a lot. So I'm going to seed it. If you're doing a lot of hot peppers or your hands are really sensitive, you do want to make sure that you wear gloves, because the capsaicin in the pepper will burn your hands, and make sure you don't get it into your eyes. So I'm going to scoop out the seeds and the ribs. Those have extra heat, so that would be a little too hot for me. And then we're just going to chunk these up into big pieces. So the food processor is going to do all the work for you. It's really fast and easy. So about half of my large pepper. Put this aside. We're going to use 1/4 of a small onion. And again, I'm using just a yellow onion, but you could use a a mild flavored onion or a red onion. And I'm just going to cut it into a couple of chunks and toss it in the food processor. I like to add a couple of pieces of red pepper, so they're not really that big. I will post the directions in the chat later. Just adds a little additional sweetness. Now, cranberries by themselves are very tart. When you buy a juice, they always have some sort of sweetener, sugar, another fruit juice, or an artificial sweetener added. So we need something in here to cut the sourness and the bitterness of the cranberries. So I'm using cran raisins. That continues the cranberry flavor. And I'm using about 1/4 of a cup. And then one of the common ingredients used in salsas is cumin. It's a really nice warm spice. It's used a lot in the Mediterranean area, India, found in a lot of the Indian curries. So we're going to use about a teaspoon of this. Also used in Mexico and Tex-Mex cooking. It's a really nice flavor. And then the last ingredient that goes in here, peppers, cranberries, raisins, onion, I always want to make sure I don't forget anything, is cilantro. So you either really like cilantro, which I do, or you may not like it. It has a genetic component to it. So cilantro is in the parsley family. As a matter of fact, in your market, you want to make sure you take a whiff of the cilantro leaves before you bring it home, because sometimes people pick up parsley and stick it back where the cilantro is, and the taste is entirely different. really fresh. You use about 2 to 3 tablespoons of the cilantro. I pick off the large leaves. The stems are kind of tough, so we don't want to use those. Give it a good rinse, and those go in the food processor as well. And I want to show you one other thing. So cilantro by itself doesn't keep very long, but one of the most successful methods I've found for keeping cilantro for probably a couple of weeks is to make a fresh cut on the stems, and I might do that every week or so anyway. I usually leave it rubber banded, and then I put some water in a sturdy cup. I like a mug because it's heavy and flat and doesn't tip over. And then take a plastic bag and just loosely put it over the cilantro. Kind of tuck it in. You don't want it sealed completely tight, but then into the refrigerator. And it'll keep a couple of weeks fresh like this in the refrigerator. And that's how I found it to be most successful for keeping it. All right, so we have all our ingredients in the food processor. I'm going to have to make a little bit of noise here to grind this all. Just give it a quick stir to make sure everything is chopped up nice. This is a really pretty salsa. It has that bright red color. All right, we're done. So it couldn't be any easier. So we're going to take this off, and I'm going to put it into my serving bowl. Give you a good look here. So you can see how pretty this is. It's beautiful red color. Everything's chopped up nice and evenly. And what you want to do now is put this in the refrigerator. It's a dish that you want to make either the night before or early in the day. You want time for those flavors to really blend together and be a nice flavorful dish for you. And I think we'll take a couple pieces of cilantro and put it on top. So that's our presentation for the cranberry salsa. Really easy. How would I serve this? I would serve it with some red peppers or other vegetables. It's a nice with a veggie dip. You can also use corn chips, traditional with salsa. And it's a great topping on top of fish or chicken. I would use it fresh and not try to cook it. Let me just talk a little bit about the chips. So the biggest problem with chips is the calories and particularly the sodium. So I purchased the reduced sodium variety of the corn chips, and they have 140 calories per serving. And a serving is 7 chips. That is a serving, that's 7 chips for 140 calories. So you eat more, you get double the calories. The sodium in these reduced chips is 55 milligrams of sodium. In the regular variety of chips, it's at least 115 milligrams of sodium. So that's a significant difference. So I try, when I'm buying chips, to look for those that are reduced in sodium. I don't think there's a significant difference in taste. You can certainly make your own chips. You may be able to find some that have no salt at all added, but it's a reasonable compromise. So it makes for a really nice presentation here. I thought I'd give you one more bonus since we're talking celebrations, and that is to talk about making kind of some bubbly beverage. Everybody loves a little bubbly beverage for the holidays. So I'm going to show you a quick and easy version that you can do here. So I'm using a stemware. It's a champagne type flute. You can use a regular glass, whatever you want. So we're going to make a cranberry orange drink. So I'm going to use a piece of orange, and I'm just going to wipe it around the rim, you know, just to make things a little bit more festive. And what I did is I took regular granulated sugar. I added red food coloring to it. So you can see it's really deep red. Just be generous with the red food coloring. So I have this glass that has some orange juice around the top, and I'm going to dip it into my sugar. And what you have here is a really pretty sugared rim. So it looks nice and festive. You ideally want to do these a little bit ahead of time so that the sugar can set on the glass as the juice dries and it'll stay nicer. So I have another one here too. And then you can do whatever you want for juices, but I'm going to use a little bit of orange juice, so we're going to pour it in just maybe a third of the glass. And then I have some cranberry pomegranate juice, and again, good source of vitamin C. I'm going to fill 2/3 of the glass now. And then got to make it bubbly. So we're going to use some seltzer. This happens to be pomegranate flavored, but you can do whatever you want. Add a little bubbles. Everybody wants bubbles. And we're going to give this a quick stir. You like my little stir. And to keep it cold, I have some frozen grapes. So I'm going to put in a few frozen grapes. I also have some of the areoles from the pomegranate. Those are the juicy covering of what we get out. Jennifer showed you how to do that. And then maybe just a little garnish of an orange slice on the side of the glass. So I have my sparkling beverage for celebrating the holidays. So wishing you a wonderful holiday season. Here's to happiness, to health, an end to the pandemic. And I wish you well, and we look forward to seeing you at our events during the new year. Cheers.